Welcome back to Fighters Drinking Coffee with Mike and Scott. Today we have Khaldon Roukie, the son of a butcher, MMA fighter, coach, lover boy, out of District Martial Arts in Arlington, Virginia.
Thanks for having me on, Sensei.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see, where should we start? Khaldon, you started training in 2018 with us?
Yeah, I think it was February or March 2018.
Okay.
I got to look at the system.
Yeah.
To know for sure.
We have there's a before and after picture that my business partner Sam was really excited about posting when Khaldon first showed up. He's a little pudgy, a little overweight. Not like I don't say overweight.
No, I was fat.
Okay. All right, let's go with that.
I was fat, man.
He was a little fat. And maybe was it last year or like recently there was like a picture of him after like he started working with like a nutritionist who, and he'd been training for like 6 or 7 years at this point too. So it's like consistent, full-time, dedicated training plus clean diet, and Khaldon's like abs are all jacked. And so like Sam was all fired up. He's like, we're posting this side by side, like fat Khaldon to athlete Khaldon.
It was like,
it's been a journey.
Yeah, it has been. It was like, I think from then to that picture, it was like 75 pounds or something.
Damn, was it really?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I don't actually weigh 155, but.
Well, yeah, but I get it.
Yeah.
But that picture, you were 75 pounds down from.
So it's like 35 to 40.
Total since joining DMA, I think I lost at least 40 pounds, 45 maybe.
Dang.
Yeah.
Look at you now, man. You're just pure beef.
Come to DMA for your lost needs.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
AAA Wagyu.
We'll have to snag that picture you threw.
That's actually a good idea. That or we'll get a cool ass.
That'll be a good
shot.
Promo shot.
He's got a lot of good action shots.
We'll grab all of them.
Khaldon's a dandy in front of the camera. He likes the glitz and glamour of it.
It's everyone's disdain. Everyone's disgust.
To the haters.
The camera's on me. I get excited. I don't know.
Would you say you're more fueled by the hate? You like being a heel.
I like being a heel. I like getting booed.
Oh yeah.
My dream is like, hopefully one day, inshallah, get to the UFC. I want to get like booed in New Jersey or something. Like get booed somewhere where they got a tough crowd. That's the goal.
Oh yeah. I don't hate that goal. That's a good goal.
You certainly could do that. We could get you booed.
Boo me right now.
We could get you booed. Yeah, all right. I like that.
Well, maybe tomorrow we'll get the whole tournament.
We'll work up the crowd.
Actually, it'd make me fight better. I think. And then because like the local promotions, like I don't know if it's just me. I don't think it's just me. I've seen people get booed, other fighters. I feel like I don't get that much hate really, like at the shows. I think one fight, because the dude that I was fighting, a lot of his friends and family were there. So I recall them distinctly like booing me as I was walking out. But most of the time, I feel like I'm always getting cheers and support. So
they love you. They booed you?
My third fight. I remember getting booed. And I liked it. I was like, well, this is awesome. This is so cool.
You're like, these people care.
Yeah.
Like I really got to them.
It's like kind of like you're fighting everybody.
Yeah.
So it makes you, I don't know, when you win, it just feels like so much more of an accomplishment. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, you get to throw that middle finger on people booing you.
Yeah.
I get it.
So you thrive on hate.
I thrive on hate. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take hate and success over being loved while being successful any day of the week.
Okay. But yeah, hate plus success. As long as success.
Yeah, I don't want to lose and get hated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So give people your background.
Background of fighting,
give a little bit of both.
Who is Khaldon? Where does he come from? What is he?
Man, Khaldon's a Lebanese guy who grew up in Canada. Scott always laughs at that because he knows I grew up in Canada.
Well, I just like the way he did that. He goes, Khaldon's a Lebanese guy.
No, because I said Khaldon. I'm not, and then people are going to be like, look, he's changing.
Call you Calvin.
Calhoun.
I call him Calhoun sometimes.
Calhoun, depends how American I want to be that day. If I got my cowboy hat on, it's Calhoun.
Oh, there you go.
Calhoun, sorry.
I got him a cowboy hat.
Sometimes you got to blend in.
When he got his citizenship, I got him a cowboy hat.
I've
never seen him wear it.
No, we wore it we have a bunch of great pictures together.
Sure, that's okay. One time. Yeah, it's true. All right, fact.
Events where it's appropriate for me.
That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up in Canada. I spent my whole life there in a small, like medium-sized city. And lived there, studied there. My family and their family businesses out there.
Want to shout it out?
Yeah, Laziz Meats.
Yeah,
shout out to Laziz Meats right now. My brothers are all running it. They're doing a great job taking it over from my dad. So, they're running the shop and in the same community that we grew up in. So it's kind of a community staple. And I worked there growing up, up until I was about 20, 21 maybe. Finished undergrad, moved out to the United States for grad school, and then started working here. I found DMA, and I kind of just picked it up as a hobby initially. Like I was like, oh, I want to learn how to box. And then I got more into MMA. And I was like, well, let me try out a gym. And so I saw DMA and I came in. Actually, Scott was like the first person I really met. We've talked about this. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
Like the moment, I actually remember it still. And I was like, well, these guys are like really cool. Cause I was expecting to walk into like a gym where it's just going to be like aggression, killer. Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing here? What do you want? But no, they were really welcoming. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try a little bit of Muay Thai. That evolved into maybe I'll do a smoker. Maybe I'll take 1 or 2 fights, and
here we are
now.
It's addicting.
Yeah, it kind of snowballed in its own way. It's really interesting. So I had a great time training and learning, and then I loved coaching, and from that got into fighting, and now fighting has become kind of an obsession. So that's what led me here. So I'm gonna fight amateur, and hopefully by the end of this year, pro career will start.
Awesome. So that was kind of like you came down here for school. Yeah, that was like initially, but then it just kind of, this was a thing that kind of showed up, and now it's become a big part of your life, like martial arts and all of that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a total accident, right? Like my family and friends back home, Scott and I talk about this all the time. People just don't get it. Maybe it's not just my community where I grew up, but it's such an unorthodox thing considering where I was. Like I got 2 master's degrees, political science and Islamic studies. So, and then I wanted to work in Middle East policy. I ended up getting a job for the government, or multiple jobs. I worked for different contractors for years. And then to pivot into like full-time athlete, coach, fighter, it's such a strange, completely unrelated pivot. It's like people were surprised by it, but they weren't at the same time, because they're like, okay, well, you've always had a couple screws loose anyways. So, of course you ended up picking like the most violent thing possible. But, yeah, it was a good accident, definitely made my life a lot more difficult in some ways, but a lot better in most other ways.
Yeah, I totally get that. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
So you say you're coaching at DMA. Is the specific program, this, but like, is there a specific program that you are like spearheading and kind of that's like becoming your baby right now, or?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Shane and I are running the MMA program together. So just we came together and we sort of wanted to revamp how people learn MMA, because, it's cool. A lot of gyms you go to, even like when we were first starting, you have like a general idea of different things that you want to learn. But if you don't have skills and at least a little bit of skill in each discipline, it's tough to bridge it all together, right? So right now, our main focus on the MMA program at DMA is to really teach people who are starting to learn all those different disciplines, because people come in and that's what they want to do, right? They want to try a little bit of jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and then they want to know how to put it together. We're there to kind of take all their fundamental knowledge and help them bridge it together and help them put it together, whether it's striking to grappling or, grappling back to stand up. So that's something that him and I are taking a lot of time to really improve on and build up at the gym.
What he's talking about, he and Shane teach a lot of the classes for MMA on the competition side with Charles.
Yeah.
Charles' leadership for like the competitors, because I think to his point, the difference between, this is maybe like kind of like gym culture stuff, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. Maybe a little gym business too. Like most people who come in, I mean, we've met a few people. Like even when you showed up, you weren't immediately like, give me a fight. You definitely are like that now. Yeah. But that kind of grew organically as you got comfortable and more competitive and more skilled, right? But we'll occasionally have some dudes come in who are like, I'm ready to fight right now. Oh, you see, it's so funny. But for the most part, 99% of people who show up, they just want to train.
Yeah.
They're like, I can call them civilians if you want to think of it that way. They want to train. They don't want to get blasted in the head. There are exceptions. But then there's the other side of it too that he's also super involved in. Like that's what I was alluding to with you, Shane, other dudes on the team, Charles overseeing it on the competitor side too.
Yeah.
Which like that is, well, I mean, you can speak for yourself, but I feel like that's also where you're pretty intimately involved.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a lot more involved, especially under, Charles's leadership when it comes to the MMA stuff. I mean, him, Scott, Tone, for example, these are guys that I've had in my corner forever. And so, helping out, I kind of play more of a support role when it comes to that stuff. Like Scott said, most of the people who come into the gym, even where I started myself, are like hobbyists or people who want to learn a technique specifically, or maybe they just want to learn self-defense or just be in shape, or they're big fans of the UFC, whatever it is. So, for the classes that we offer, that's a good way to introduce people into it. And then we help each other sort of facilitate and build up towards competition. It's not for everybody. We've had guys who, and this is no dig at anyone specifically, we've had people who tried it and were like, yeah, I'm good. It was a one and done, and it's just too much work because of all the other things that are involved with fighting that people just aren't aware about, right? And then we've had people who are like, they walk in on their first day and they're like, I want to be your new champion. We're like, well, brother, how about
slow it down?
Yeah, let's teach you how to, I don't know.
Show up to like 3 classes a week for 3 months.
Let's hit pads first.
Yeah.
See, let's make sure that you actually know what you're doing.
Teach you what a jab is or something.
Well, like, but to your point, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody long term.
Yeah.
Like I mean, this.
Yeah.
Different respects. Like it requires a lot of dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's going to do that. And like you said, some people there will be dudes kind of come and go in these communities. It's normal. People's lives change, priorities change. You'll have people who fight for a while. They feel like they've checked that box. They maybe want to keep training, or sometimes they don't want to train at all, and they migrate out. And then they're the dudes who are kind of like lifers.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I couldn't do it myself. Like I couldn't not fight until my body literally gives up on me. But I kind of get it. It's so grueling and it's just such a cruel sport. Aside from just the physical side of things, that's not even the worst part. Like getting punched in the face or beat up or, you know what I mean, all cut up. That's whatever. You get hit, you go to the hospital, you come home, whatever. You're fine. You'll recover after some time. It's the weight cutting, the mental game, people on your case. I wish we talk about this all the time, right? Like you have people who are so close to you. Maybe their intention is good, maybe it's not, and they start to tear you down while you're, preparing to literally fight someone like a gladiator, and so all of that, just putting it together, the psychological aspect of it, the physical changes that your body goes through, the stress and, on top of the pain that's probably going to be inflicted on you. It's tough, man. It's tough to commit to. It's fun as a sport. You could be like killing it for a year and then boom, your shoulder pops out, Now you have to learn how to manage your life with that while still pursuing the hobby. And so, but I think that when I say part of my life has gotten better from that, I think learning how to overcome those obstacles and challenges, that's something that people don't see. They see like MMA fighter, oh, he's aggressive, he's this, he's that, maybe he's a meathead, whatever. But you really overcome a lot of spiritual and mental blocks that, you otherwise wouldn't have been able to because the conditions are so extreme.
Yeah, you're tested.
Yeah. Totally,
you're
man.
tested.
I mean, I always used to look at back when I was still fighting, like I always used to look at that as the fight was like the fun reward at the end of all the other shit, right? Mm-hmm. So I totally get that. Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand like how grueling like the training, the camp, the weight cut, like all those things on top of each other really are. And like also outside of just that, the effect that has on like your personal life. And so it's definitely not for the weak in heart too. Like, I don't blame anyone who like tries it out and it's like, nah, man, this isn't for me at all. Like, or people who don't want to do it once they get into it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
So, all right. I want to make sure I'm understanding when you're talking about the kind of back to like the MMA program. So do you have kind of like the competitor side, and then you also have like the civilian side, like what you're saying, like the non-competitive side? So you have like MMA classes that someone can just walk in and start taking, like part of the regular curriculum.
Yeah, we're a bit picky on it now, Shane and I, pickier than we used to be. And that's primarily because we want people to actually learn, right? So we're really encouraging people to go learn the other disciplines. Like my jiu-jitsu in MMA can't get better unless I practice my jiu-jitsu separately. Same thing with my boxing, my Muay Thai, wrestling, you name it, right? At least to know fundamental things so you can defend or attack with them. So we have those regular classes. You can come to the gym, you train, you just take the classes in each session. And now we have a curriculum that we've built. So we have a schedule and different topics that we're going to be teaching every day. So they get exposed to all aspects of MMA, whether that's grappling, wrestling, striking.
Are you guys syncing up on that too?
Yeah. We have like a full monthly curriculum that we follow. We don't go into like the specific things that we're going to be working.
Yeah, like a theme or something.
Yeah, but there's a theme of the month, right? Or the theme of the day. Sorry. If we find that some people are struggling with certain things, we'll put more emphasis and time on that. And we kind of adapt it. We've seen a much better increase in people's ability to apply these things because we specifically focus on it. So maybe like Monday is a striking day and we're working the 1-1-2 into the shots, right? Or there's another striking day, maybe, 5 weeks later, and we're teaching people how to strike to defend against takedowns. So that's kind of how it is. And then when it comes to the fight team stuff, that's Charles is kind of
he oversees it.
He's the overseer of that whole fight team, right? So, we all support each other. So I have been helping people with their weight cuts because I'm really good at weight cutting. So, I take a lot more responsibility when it comes to that stuff, supporting the weight cut, keeping an eye on them, helping them with their protocol, just spending a lot of time learning how to do it for different weight classes and different categories. But the fight team is kind of its own separate thing because it also encompasses Muay Thai, amateur boxers, people who are going to be competing in super fights. So we have like different sides to that. And then the way I look at it is like you have different pillars of the gym, right? So like Scott, head jiu-jitsu coach, all the competitors for jiu-jitsu kind of go under that track, right? And then you have MMA is one track, and Muay Thai is kind of within the fight team track, but it's separate. So the preparation is entirely different than how I would prepare for a fight as an MMA fighter.
Right. But basically what he's saying is like if people are throwing punches, fight team. And they train together. Yeah. They have a group of guys that are consistently getting together to help each other prepare for various, and it's a pretty active team.
Yeah.
We've had dudes in the last couple of years. It was MMA almost exclusively for a couple of years, and now we have some dudes doing boxing and kickboxing fights. So it's cool to see that side expand. Now let me ask you this, dudes. You've been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu. Like people who don't know.
People don't know.
Khaldon competes a lot in jiu-jitsu too.
Brother.
He's competing tomorrow.
I tell people I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy,
but he is a jiu-jitsu guy.
I am a jiu-jitsu guy.
It was like an identity crisis. And there was like, I remember me and Charles and probably some of the, like maybe even Mark, some of like the other guy, like on the wrestling side, like just the grappling coaches talking about him before or after, whatever, one of the fights, we were like, yo, man, this guy needs to start, like, you're a grappler.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in his head for a long time.
Yeah, you said you came to do Muay Thai and boxing.
Well, he was a boxer. Like you boxed before you came to us.
So the thing is you have to understand, DMA's wrestlers are so good. Always. Since I've started, I was always the worst in the room when it came to grappling. And I had no experience. Like you have like Shane wrestled his whole life. Mark, Noah, Noah,
Eric,
Charles is at the school of DMA,
Charles
but
wrestles,
still, like,
he wrestles.
And then you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so like everyone had wrestling over me, so I was just getting my ass handed to me, brother. I'm talking like for years, just smashed constantly. And Coach Perdomo takes over with my training when it comes to the grappling side of things, and we're working independently. And then he like revamped my skill set, but in my head, even though I'm winning tournaments, I'm getting gold medals, I'm competing like basically,
quite a bit.
Yeah, in between each fight. So if I fight 3-4 times a year, whatever it is, I'm competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments between each fight. That's at least 3.
It's about the same. Yeah. Maybe more sometimes. Yeah. 2 to 4, maybe sometimes more jiu-jitsu tournaments a year. In my head in the fights, it just wasn't there. And then every time I have grappled though, or just said like, screw it, this person's a better wrestler than me, I'm going to wrestle or I'm going to grapple anyways, I've always done better. So, I am competing tomorrow.
Copa, Virginia.
Yep.
This is my first time competing in the advanced division.
Nice. You going for that $500?
I'm gonna go for the $500.
Yeah.
I'm buying everyone dinner. I want it.
Hopefully, when this releases, we'll be able to tell people that you won $500.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll take our cut.
I'm excited.
It was not a big cut.
I saw the bracket, and we were joking around because we, I know someone in one of my brackets. I always do multiple divisions, so I've always done that. I like to push my gas tank. I like the challenge, so I'll be doing my weight class and the absolute division, which at this level I know is going to be tough, right? Because I could be going up against black belts or brown belts, but
there are black belts and brown belts in
yeah.
division, so they're there.
But I just get excited by that, honestly.
Good.
Like, the more I feel like the odds are against me, the more I'm like pumped to get in there. It's reining me in. That's the problem. Scott knows, right?
Yeah, but it's manageable.
Yeah, and it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
No, I love it.
So
he's gonna do good.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna do very good.
Well, and you're cutting weight for that right now too, right?
Yeah, I got a few pounds,
just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, compared to my weight cuts are always big, so compared to the usual, this is like
nothing.
Nah,
this is just a nap, right? Just
yeah,
sleep it off,
and maybe one hot bath.
There you go.
A lot of crying.
That'll get someone.
Brother, I'll cry off 2 pounds, no problem.
You just go listen to the booze a little bit.
Yeah,
I get some tears out.
I have a playlist. It's my secret crying playlist. Oh yeah. I'll listen.
I want to know what this is.
I'm feeling a lot of people who know him listening want to know what that list is too. Maybe we'll post a Spotify playlist.
We'll
probably not. That's for him.
Do a Khaldon curated Spotify cry list.
Yeah.
Ladies only.
Lady. Yeah. No.
The softer side.
Yeah.
We can leave that for another conversation.
Another episode.
That'll be a bonus. That'll be bonus content.
That could be exclusive Patreon content.
There you go. That's cool, man. So you're competing. Do you have any other jiu-jitsu tournaments you're eyeing right now? Just to stay on that topic.
I mean, I'm looking around. I'm really, like, when it comes down to it, we have a structure, right? I gotta get permission from the guys. So from Scott in this case, right, to get into these other tournaments. Like, I want to do IBJJF. I really want to do that this year. I would like to do some type of ADCC tournament. I've never done Naga. I've never done other ones, but I'd like to do like different types of jiu-jitsu tournaments because I do IBJJF rules mostly. And I've done like double or single elimination. Copa, I mean, Dimitri's always taking care of me at Copa. And so I do them the most just because they're the closest and if I could get my reps in. But this year I really want to get into those other tournaments. I'd also like to do a super fight. I'm like begging for a super fight.
We'll work something out. We'll work something out.
I feel like it's that.
I'll say this. I feel like you would do good in super fights. You are.
Yeah.
You're made for super fights.
I fought in front of crowds before, right? But jiu-jitsu is a little bit more daunting to me because maybe it's just because I've never done it. But the idea of all eyes on you with like a limited discipline that you're working with, you have to be like on top of it. Perfect skill set. In MMA, like I don't have to worry about somebody pulling a leg attack on me, from a guard position.
Yeah, you can punch him.
Yeah, hammer fist.
Yeah.
Like it's
as you should.
It could happen, but I don't know. Most of the time, the second you're on your back, you're like, oh,
yeah. There's more answers to it. That's not the only thing that they have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
So,
but with jiu-jitsu, you got a leg specialist, or somebody who's like a guard specialist, or you got so many other factors that are like so niche that you have to worry about. That's the type of stuff that I'm like, that's a big challenge for me because we're so top. Like we have a lot of good top pressure. We have guys who have all types of skill sets and disciplines. But when you're training with the same dudes over and over again, I learned from my coaches. So my style is like an amalgamation of everything that they've built up with me, right? So seeing those different looks it's always fun.
How do you feel coaching versus competing?
Jiu-jitsu or
well, either? Because I know we've talked about like you've begun recently coaching a lot of the fights.
Brother, coaching, and I've said this to you, and you always, you're like, it's not as big a deal as you make it in your head. Coaching is way more stressful to me than fighting, especially when you have a vested interest in the person that you're cornering or coaching. Like, I don't get nervous when I fight ever. I mean, nerves, relatively speaking, but I don't worry about anything. I see my coaches, they're with me. They tell me what to do. I shut my brain off. I go out there, I fight, whatever happens, happens. But when you're coaching, it's like you're not in control anymore. Yeah. All you can do is just, make calls,
Advise,
advise, and you guys always do a good job with that. So I try to copy that when I coach. But I do always get a little bit more nervous because it's like, if I'm fighting, I can do this. I can.
Do you find it a little frustrating when like you say something and they don't do it?
Like I do.
Don't even look at it.
I do, and there's only so much you can control when it comes down to it. Even me, like my coaches have told me to do stuff, and I haven't done it in my fights, or in my tournaments. Like Scott's cornered me for I don't even know how many. I have like 50 jiu-jitsu matches or something, right? So like Scott's basically cornered me for almost every single one. And I'm sure there are tons of times where I actually remember specific times where you've told me to do stuff and I didn't do it. So it's frustrating for sure being on that side of things. Because you just want to like jump in there yourself and do it. But it's a different skill set that I realized. And actually has helped my confidence and my mindset as a fighter and as a competitor, because you're kind of on both sides of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So I'm glad you bring that up. Like, is there something specific do you think it changed about like the way that you compete now that you've been on from being on the coaching side of it, like the way that you coach and then seeing kind of how the reaction is? There's something that you do on your end now that you're competing a little bit differently because you know it from that coaching side.
Yeah. I mean, so the one thing I've noticed, I'll never forget my first walkout. Shout out to Rocket Combat Sports, my favorite promotion in the area. These guys always take care of me, so they're awesome. They gave me my debut at AMI, and I did my walkout. We must have had like 100 people from DMA there, and maybe 200 people in this high school gym, whatever. And dude, I thought I was like in Apex or something. I thought there were thousands of people, and I'm hearing my name get chanted, and I'm like, I can't hear a word these guys are telling me, by the way, for the first round. Like, I didn't hear anything. And that got a little bit better, but I distinctly remember in my first 3 fights, because that was before I started coaching, I didn't really hear them as clearly as I do now. Now I hear everything these guys say to me, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that I've been on both sides. So I kind of block out the crowd. I don't even know it's there, man. Like I do showboat and stuff because I know people are watching. Like I try to play the role.
Some of that's good, man. People that's why I think that's why like Cagezilla, that's why Rocket likes you, dude.
Maybe
they do.
I like to make a little bit of a show.
Yeah, dude.
These guys don't like it when I'm not ahead. I'm not ahead. I start.
Well, yeah, we want you to win. Yeah. First and foremost, it's a balancing act.
Yeah,
Calhoun.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You're right. I like sometimes I'm not I never had an older brother because I'm the oldest in my family, but with these guys are kind of like my older brothers.
Yeah.
And I feel that itch to troll. I don't know. But when I showboat, it kind of gives me that that delusional confidence that I think it really goes the extra mile. It's just knowing when, like the time and place to do it, right?
Oh, I totally get that, dude.
Well, dude, we talked about this in one of our episodes recently about Copa Elite, where Mike was talking about how he was like, I got to put on a show too. Yeah. Sometimes you got to put on a show.
Yeah. So sometimes you feel like it's starting to, you can feel like a little bit of that, like the crowd losing interest. Like there's definitely, you can feel like kind of that turn, like you want to win the crowd.
He's a fan favorite.
You invited back.
He's a fan favorite. When we go to when I go to, I guess mostly Rocket, but also maybe Cagezilla, like the staff, everyone loves Khaldon there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, the crowd, he's got fans in the crowd.
If you put on a show, like win or lose, they want you back on the card for the next one, right?
I think it's a little bit of the sex appeal he puts out there. He starts flexing on the camera.
Brother.
Calvin over here.
We start flirting with
Khaldon. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of ring girl flirting going on.
The son of a butcher. No, brother. Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like having fun. We're just having fun.
Having fun's good.
We're just having some fun.
I'm making sure everyone gets attention.
Yeah.
Well, it's important. You got to pay attention to everyone.
All I'm saying is they remember him.
Yeah. The promotions always take care of me in the area too. Like win or lose, the promoters are always good to me. They've always been very professional, and they definitely like. You can tell the difference when a promoter is like trying to take care of you or showing you respect versus when they just don't care,
Yeah.
As long as you show up, you make weight. I've never missed weight. I show up. I try to put on a show. Regardless of what's going on in my personal life, I try to make that a priority. And, it ends up helping build those relationships. It's, it makes the whole experience a little bit more fun when you just aren't like stiff and rigid and quiet. You know, some people are fine like that. It's just not how I am.
Well, and I think that's kind of been like, there's a little bit of a recurring theme when we talked about this kind of stuff on the show, and like professionalism, doing right by the promotion. They tend to do right by you after that. So like it definitely rings true. So I mean, that comes up a lot. So I know you're running up on on time here. Do you have anything, but let's go over aspirations for the year. Like what's some things, like goals that you have for the end of the year, or kind of, you know, coming up? It could be early next year, whatever, but you know, what's next for the son of a butcher?
Well, you know, I'm coming off of a loss right now. So I'm going to be spending the short-term goal is to build on these deficiencies in my game or skill sets that I need to expand on, right? So I'm in the training arc right now. But really by the end of the year, wrap up my amateur career. I'd like to get maybe 2 more. I've got 8 fights now. Want to make it about 10. And I'll continue to compete locally. But I think by 2026, that's where I'd like to get at least an IBJJF tournament in. So something a little bit more high level, and begin my pro career around that same time. So debut as a pro fighter and, you know, work towards that UFC dream.
Oh yeah.
Build up the skills, work on some jiu-jitsu, get some competitions.
Yeah.
We're going to schedule out some MMA later in the year.
Yeah.
We've talked about it with Charles.
Yeah.
We had a plan.
We have a plan.
We got a plan. Work on the skills a lot. That's for all of us.
What have you added since the loss? Like what things are you like adding in, focusing on? Are there any like new things that you've added to your kind of your training to get to the next, like to try to, I don't know, build up and fill in some of those gaps?
Yeah. You know, honestly, for me, you know, if I can speak freely on this, it's really just my mental state as a competitor, right? For the longest time, I was the most junior guy in the room, right? And I'm not anymore. But I think my mindset has always had that kind of doubt that comes with being the most junior guy in the room. But I've got tons of experience. I've got, you know, more experience than most in the area now. And I think it's really developing the mindset that comes with competition that, you know, I have these skills. I just have to implement them. I know what the right decisions are to do. I just have to believe in the training that I have and really do that. And that's more reps with my strong points, with the places that I'm weak in. So it's going to be a lot more grappling, a lot more focus on what I'm good at, which is, you know, my jiu-jitsu.
And your wrestling.
My wrestling, being more aggressive and offensive with it. And then when it comes to my striking, you know, just improving my defense, keeping my hands up, throwing, being more calculated, and then bridging it all together. I think that's going to be the big thing, because I could do these things, but, you know, I have to believe in my ability to put it all together.
He's got a strength conditioning coach. He's got a very good strength conditioning coach now, Asim.
Yeah.
So he's putting a lot of extra inputs, new data, new skill sets are being exercised.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Asim, he's helping me in an area that I was really deficient in, which I just didn't, you know, lifting was always more of a chore for me, but he's made it in a way that it's catered towards an MMA fight, right? And so, you know, with that, building up that side of things and using, you know, that coaching and applying it into my routine and my schedule, you know, my goals.
That's awesome, man.
I had a weird question for you, but I know he'll have something to say. You got any recommendations for the youth? What about
the youth?
Yeah, I said, look at his face, look at his body. Like, I knew he was going to, I got some words for the up and coming.
Brother, as a community icon and the youth, being in charge of the youth and many facets of life. No, I volunteer with some youth, and I got a lot of young guys at the end.
He's coach. He's coach.
I think for young people, you know, when you're young, you have zero sense of responsibility or, you know, zero sense of caution in your head, right? So if I were to talk to myself as a teenager, you know, and tell myself to get into this stuff, I would just tell them to take their time, you know, don't look for crazy fights when you're 16, like develop your skills, spend a lot of time with wrestling. I think that's a big thing in America, because I grew up in Canada where wrestling is not that big, or it's not as big as it is here. Spend a lot of time in your younger years wrestling, doing jiu-jitsu, protecting your head, and concussions will come later. We're all going to get CTE eventually. But I think spending time there and then building into all the striking sports and the competitions when you're, entering into your 20s.
Yeah.
All right. At Son of a Butcher on Instagram.
Son of a Butcher.
We'll add it in the show notes.
Throw in the show notes. Yeah. Thank you guys again for listening to Fighters Drinking Coffee. Our usual housekeeping. Follow us on Instagram. Get on that Discord. This will all be in the show notes. You'll be able to click that link. It'll take you straight there. The more people we have in there, the more lively it's going to become. And then as always, rate, follow, review. Doing that helps us out. That helps get this show in front of more people, which means more people like you listening to the show. And we are still working on some cool new things to hopefully add some stuff that you guys can take advantage of coming in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you guys posted as that develops. So thank you.
Boom, shakalaka.
Bye.
Bye.